Hey y'all, my name is Ashley and I am a bit of a collector and hoarder of makeup. And to continue to collect and hoard makeup, I promised I would sit down and film some content, and that is what I'm doing today. I'm looking at myself in the viewfinder and I feel so glowy, but I really like how glowy I look and feel because spring is like around the corner and spring means warm weather. So excited. So today I'm going to be doing a first impressions using the new Snow White Colourpop collection. So I usually post these on Fridays. I am a little behind, but if you want to see two different looks, this being one of them, or if you want to see how I got this look, then keep on watching. All right, so I kind of want to talk about the collection itself first before we get into this first look that I created, which is more of like a good, soft, neutral look that I went for. So I purchased the full collection, and that full collection was $99, which does include the 12-pan, the Dreams Come True Pressed Powder Palette. So this is what the palette looks like on the inside. You do get 12 different shades with mattes, a matte sparkle, well, more than one matte sparkle. Then you also have some metallics and then also a super shock shadow in here, which I'm very curious on how long that is going to last because I have quite a few super shock shadows and you have to like keep the lid on them tight or they're going to dry out. And I feel like in a magnetic cardboard palette, I do have concern for the shade Ever After right here, which is, it is gorgeous. Okay, that is a beautiful shade if my camera will focus. So I mean, I'll be really disappointed when that dries up because it is gorgeous. It's what I have on my eye right here. So this palette on its own does retail for $22. Then there are 3 different super shock shadows, and each of these do retail for $10 each. This is the shade Fair Enough. Then we also have the shade Just Rosy, which is gorgeous. And then the shade I Wish, I Wish. So those are the 3 Super Shock blushes. Each of those are $10 each on their own. Then there is the Just One Bite Sugar Lip Scrub. So this is super cute because it is like in the shape of an apple and it does say Just One Bite. And this does retail for $12. Oh, and it smells like apples. So then there are 2 different lip kits in this collection. And so the first one is Love's First Kiss, which is going to be like red, which is on my lips. And then the second one is Thy Magic Spell, which is going to be more of like a purpley shade. Now both of these lip kits each contain a lip liner, a lipstick, and a lip gloss for $20 each, which I don't think is bad at all with a retail value of $30. And then finally, the last item is the mirror. So the mirror does say make a wish and unlock the magic. It does retail for $14, and this is the only product that won't be in Ulta. So you can only get the mirror in a bundle on Colourpop's website and buy it on its own. But from what I've looked up and seen, that everything else is available at Ulta, even if it's not in the same bundles. So the different bundles that you can get is the full collection for $99, which are all the products I'm going to be showing and sharing with you today. And that does have a retail value of $138. And then you can also get the Good versus Evil bundle, which is just going to be the bundle with the lip kits for $35, which is a retail value of $60. So then there's the last bundle, which is the bundle that I purchased my mom, which is where you get the Dreams Come True Pressed Powder Palettes. Then you get the Just One Bite Lip Scrub along with the Magic Mirror. That does retail for $42 with a $48 bundle. So those are all the products. Let's go ahead and jump into the first look. So like, I just want to share how nice my base looks today. I've been like playing like chemistry with all of my products and like mixing and matching products and stuff. And I'm like loving the base of my makeup. But that is not what we're talking about. So I'm going to start off this first look by doing more of a like neutral look. And that is because I also picked up this palette for my mom. And my mom does kind of, it's not that she complains, but she's like, I want you to do a tutorial on products that I have, right? Problem is the products that she has and some of the products that I buy her, Like, I don't buy them for myself. My mom likes, you know, she likes a little bit more neutral when it comes to eyeshadow palettes. But I did pick her up this one because my mom's favorite Disney princess is Snow White. She does enjoy the Colourpop eyeshadows. I've already picked her up. So this first look is going to be a little neutral with a nice pop of color and kind of like more of like the good side, okay? Now, I did prime my eyes with the Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas Eye Base in the shade Fair. If I ever change that, I will let you know, but that just seems to be the eye base that I'm really enjoying right now, and I don't see myself changing it anytime soon. But the first shade I want to go ahead and dip into is going to be the shade With a Smile. So this is a neutral matte. And I'm just going to take that on a very fluffy brush. And I'm going to kind of just like sweep it over like my crease. And like kind of press it into my inner corner while sweeping it into the crease. Now, so I picked this palette up and like, I knew like the basis of the color story, but I kind of just like, oh, Snow White, I'll buy it. So that's usually how my mind goes. Like I don't really look, like I look at color stories, but I don't go through and see, oh, there's that many metallics and that many shimmers. Like that's not what I do. So I get the palette and I'm looking at it and there's just something's off. And I'm going to tell you what I think is off. I feel like this palette really needed a matte yellow. This palette has more metallics and shimmers than mattes in here, which is not a big deal. I like a good metallic, I like a good shimmer, but if it had a matte yellow, there is so much more I could do. Like in reality, like the fact that the blue's a metallic and the gold's a metallic, and then there's a gold shimmer, I believe. I don't want my whole eye covered in glitter. And even though one of these looks that I'm going to be doing for you today, it's going to end up happening because there's just not enough mattes. And I feel like if I'm going to be talking about this collection, it's not right of me to grab a different palette because I want a yellow matte. So I really needed that like yellow matte. It'd be so pretty in the inner corner. It'd be really pretty even under like your eye on your lash line. Like there's just so much you could have done if there was a matte yellow in this palette. So I've got that shade laid down. I now want to dip into the darker nude in here, which is going to be Such Grace. It's this one right here in this corner. Same brush. And I'm going to use it to kind of deepen my outer corner. So I'm just going to pat and blend right there. Honestly. So this is the Such Grace shade, and this is With a Smile. So this one's supposed to be the lighter of the two. That was not what I wanted to go with. So I'm going to switch it up, and I'm going to go into the shade Someday. So this is more of a pink nude. Another matte. Another thing I noticed with this palette is a lot of, you know, when you're ordering online and in the description, most palettes will specify like which shades, and even on the back of the packaging, it would let you know which shades are pressed pigments and which ones are eyeshadows. This palette is not an eyeshadow palette, which just legally saying, okay? You know, there's brands getting sued left and right for this. So it's called a, what did they call it? They called it a pressed powder palette, which leads me to believe that some of these shades in here are just pressed pigments. And nowhere on the box and nowhere on Colourpop's website does it specify which shades are pressed pigments and which ones are eyeshadows, or if they're all pressed pigments. So, I mean, some people are sensitive to these things and they would like to know. I personally don't care if I'm using a pressed pigment or an eyeshadow on my eye. I understand that there might be a little bit of staining, and I'm okay with that. But I feel like there should be some specifying things here. The shade Someday, it is deepening out my outer corner, and it's starting to look in my head where I wanted it to go to. The next shade I want to dip into is the shade Carried Away. And so it's going to be a brown matte with sparkle in the matte. So it's not going to be a metallic, but it's going to have like little glitter reflex in there. And I'm going to use that to deepen the outer corner up just a little bit more and bring it into the center of my eyelid. So just kind of pressing. Where's the shade? Try something a little bit denser. Let's try that. There we go. Okay, I just needed a denser brush. So I'm going to put that in the outer corner, and I'm kind of just patting and pressing because I want that glitter to stay on my eye. I find that with these shades, and even though they are just so pretty to look at in the pan, I find that when it comes to blending your looks out, you lose a lot of that glitter reflect within the shade. So, and then it's just kind of left behind a matte shadow with a random sprinkle of glitter. So I try not to do too much of like the swooping motion. I kind of pat that one on. Man, I just realized I'm like trying to stay in frame of the camera and not get too close to my mirror. This collection did come with a mirror. I don't know how I forgot about that. That's much better. Got the mirror. Okay, so now as I'm like applying the shade Carried Away, like it is starting to deepen out my outer corner, but it's taking a lot for that shade to look the same, like deeper brown on my eyes. I don't know. It's because I said I was having a good like base day. So now it's like your eyes aren't going to be good today. I'm now going to go ahead and take the shade Ever After, and I'm going to use my finger, and I'm going to use that in the center of my eye. Just kind of patting it down. Can't tell if this one's the Super Shock one. I don't think so. This is like a more of a metallic shade, but it is like super creamy. It feels really good, and it's applying to the lid really nicely. I'm just not happy with where this look is going. It's not what I wanted because I can't get that Carried Away shade to deepen up my outer corner. So I'm gonna try again by just like pressing it there. So I'm gonna dip into the shade Such Charm, and I'm gonna kind of use that shade on a really fluffy brush, and I'm just going to use it to kind of just blend out everything and make it just like look really nice together. And then finally, for the inner corner, I'm going to use the shade Spellbreaker. Now, I believe this is the Super Shock, so it's like a white shimmer. But I want to try to use it on a brush because I want to put it in like the inner corner of my lid. So I'm just going to take it on a small detailing brush, which I did pick up on, and then just kind of like press it on. Honestly, I don't like how light it is. Like this whole look came out a lot lighter than I wanted. So I'm going to use the shade In the Land, which is a deep brown. And I'm going to see if that will like deepen things up for me in the outer corner. Kind of use it to kind of just make the look a little different. It's just a little neutral for my taste. I know some people like a more neutral look, which is why this is going to be the first one, and then the second look is going to be more of the colors in this palette. So that really helped. That In the Land really helped add some color, even though it is a neutral shade. But I'm taking the shade Such Grace again and using that to just blend everything together, putting it under my brow bone, and just kind of smoothing everything out. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm going to put the same look on this eye, and then we'll come back and do the under eyes, play with the blush, put some lip on, and I'll see you in just a second. So I went ahead and added a little lash and a little bit of winged eyeliner. I don't know if you're new to watching any videos that I have done, or you've been here for a minute. You've seen that I don't ever not have a winged eyeliner. I cannot help it. It's just naturally, like everything I do requires winged liner. So I added a winged liner. I added some very simple lashes, and these are Ardell Naked 421s. I felt like if I went with anything bigger, it's gonna hide a lot of what I have on my lids. But I think for this part now that I have, since my lids are so neutral, I wanna do a pop of color on the bottom lashes. So I'm going to take an angled liner brush and dip into the shade Just One Kiss, which is a really pretty metallic blue. I'm gonna use it to line my under eye. So just to add a pop of color, I'm just gonna buff that out as well because I want it to be a little bit more smokier than just a line under my eye. So I feel like that blue just kind of tied the whole look together and kind of just gave it that pop of color that my heart was like really needing, because I don't do a lot of neutral looks. But I'm gonna dip back into the shade Spellbreaker and put that in my inner corner. And earlier I said that's the Super Shock shadow. I lied. The Super Shock shadow is the Ever After shade. I was like, wait, this doesn't feel right. And that's because I was wrong. So I corrected my mistake. But I'm just gonna put that in the inner corner and just a little bit underneath the eye just to tie it all together. And then I think whatever highlighter that I put on, I'm also gonna apply that in the inner corner just to bring it together. So eyes are done, and now I want to play with one of the blushes. And so I actually, I picked up the entire collection. So I have all 3 blushes here. So this is the shade Fair Enough, which is more of a red blush here with some gold reflect. Now this is the first time I'm actually going to be playing with a Super Shock blush. Now, these are the cream to powder blushes with a little bit of shimmer to give it a more skin-like finish. So this one is the shade Just Rosy. This one's definitely a little too dark for this look, but definitely a shade I'm going to be dipping into for the other look I'm going to be doing. And then finally the shade I Wish, which is more of a pastel pink peachy shade. So what I want to do is I'm going to take the shade Fair Enough. So this is the more bright and poppy shade. So I'm going to take that one, take the shade, and I'm going to put it right on the top of my cheekbone. Just put a little bit of it there. So then I'm going to take the shade I Wish, and I'm going to use that shade to blend out the shade Fair Enough. So just kind of mixing the two. Because I like to put the bright poppy blush right here on the top of my cheekbone, and then use a lighter blush that would look good, and use that to kind of blend it out. So it's just my blush has depth, if that makes sense. So I'm going to say this though, the shade I Wish is more of a highlighter shade for me. So it's looking more like highlight than blush, which is fine. I'll just use a little bit more of the shade Fair Enough to make it a little bit more blushy. But this is definitely more of a highlighter shade. Back into Fair Enough. I will say it picks up a lot in the brush, but it blends really nicely on the skin where it's not yeah, it looks like a lot of pigment, but it blends out really nicely. I really like the blushes. So I really wish I swatched the I Wish shade, because if I knew that, I would have stuck with Fair Enough as the blush and used this as a highlighter. But I already started, and I'm not taking off my entire base just to fix the blush. I'm not going to do it. It still looks really nice, but I will say I probably won't be adding any highlighter to this look because it is so glowy. I really, really, really like the shade Fair Enough. This is, I'm very happy with that color. I really like it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this I Wish shade on a small detailing brush and add a little bit of that into my inner corner, because I feel that's going to make it really pop. Do I know if these blushes are eye safe? I do not, but I'm not scared to put anything in there apparently. So I'm also going to take a little bit of that shade and put it under my brow bone. Gosh, I really like this blush as a highlighter. It is really pretty. I really like that. I feel it just added a lot to my eye look and kind of just brought everything together. For this look, I'm going to be using the Love's First Kiss Luxe Lip Kit. So this does contain a cream luxe lipstick, a lippy pencil, and a luxe lip gloss, which I kind of like this. I believe this was only, on their own, it is $20. So you get your lip liner, your lipstick, and a lip gloss. And I feel that's a really good deal. So I'm going to obviously go in with the lip liner first. Okay, so Love's First Kiss is the entire kit, what it's called. The lippy pencil is called Such a Beauty. That is a really pretty color and a really nice lip liner. The lipstick for this kit is actually called Snow White. So it's the same color. Oh, and it's got little apples embossed on the side of it. That's super cute. I really like this shade of red. I don't think I have one that's quite this bright red, but it's kind of toned down. I really like it. And so finally, the last product is the Red as a Rose lip gloss. So what I'm going to do is take a lip brush, and I'm going to use that to apply it, because I don't like putting the lip gloss on my lips and getting the pigment from my lips inside the lip gloss. That drives me nuts. So I do use a brush. Oh, that is so, so pretty. So based off just doing that look, at first I was like really unimpressed with the neutral tones, and I don't know if it's because of like what I was creating, but like adding that blue, I feel like my entire look looks really put together. And so far I really enjoy like the color of this lipstick and the lip gloss, along with the colors and like the texture and the way it looks on the skin. I'm really liking these Super Shock blushes. I'm really disappointed in myself for never trying these before, but I really like both of these. This one more for a highlighter, but like this one mixed with this one to create like a softer look. I really like this. So now let's go ahead and jump into the second look. I am not gonna lie, it's been a couple days since I actually filmed the first look I did. My intentions were to actually put it out sooner, and then I got the stomach flu, and today is the first day that I felt like myself and actually been able to eat food. So now I'm gonna be doing like a bolder look, which I'm gonna just call it evil because the other one was good, and that is just how I want to say how that's how I'm feeling, because I'm not feeling evil, but I do like the more dark looks. And when it comes to Disney, I prefer the villains over the princesses. I'm sorry. Okay, you don't know. Okay, I don't aspire to be a Disney princess. I aspire to be a Disney villain. So for this look, I did already prime my eyes with the Gerard Cosmetics Clean Canvas Eye Base. I want to start off by dipping into the shade Fri-YAY. So this is the black shade with the sparkle, and I want to swatch it and kind of show you. I don't know if you can see that sparkle in there. It is absolutely gorgeous because there's like, you see blue and gold and purple and red. It's just a nice mixture. I do fear that when I start blending and buffing that shade away that a lot of that glitter is going to fall out, but I'm going to go for it anyway. And I'm actually going to kind of outline what I want to do first. So I'm going to take like an eyeliner brush right here, kind of use it to outline the shape of my eye look today. And I want like a nice big wing. I want a black outer corner, and then I want to work my way to the inner corner with different shades. So something bold, because you know what? I always end up doing really bold looks on days that I have shit to do. And today today I'm going to Chuck E. Cheese. So this is going to be an interesting look to go to Chuck E. Cheese. But I'm going to just like kind of make a wing, and then just kind of, I'm patting, you know? And if it's not perfect, it's not perfect. You see, I'm just like making a shape. That is what I'm doing. But I want that black to kind of hit like the center, like kind of do that. I forgot what it's called, but I'm kind of like making a big wing that kind of comes up and over the crease. That is what I'm vibing for today. Like that. But I think I want my wing to be bigger. So that is the shape I'm going for. And now I'm going to fill it in. A fluffier brush, but the same shade. And I'm going to just kind of pat that because I'm gonna smoke it out in a minute. So nothing has to be perfect. See, the glitter is so pretty. I'm so scared once I start going whoop, 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 it's all gonna fall off my face, which is why I don't have any makeup on yet, because I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot of fallout with the darker colors, and I wanna be able to just like wipe it under my eye and then do my foundation and shit. Okay, so this is a clean, fluffy brush, and I'm going to use that to buff the line. So that way it's a smoky line and not just a harsh line. I'm not even kidding, I buffed all of that out and there is no glitter left. I called it. But what I'll do is at the end, when I've got all the shades on my eyes that I want, I'll just like use a detailing brush and kind of just press it on so I do get that glitter. Because right now I want to smoke my eyes out. So I know that looks really intimidating, but I kind of like the intimidating eye look personally. So I'm going to take a clean fluffy brush that's a little bit looser. So I'm gonna take this one and kind of use it to buff like the edge up here. And I might even dip into the shade, what is that one called? With a Smile, to kind of just diffuse under the brow, because I did get like a little bit of a black smudge here. I now want to take the shade Just One Kiss, and that is this really pretty metallic blue. In the first look, I did use it as a under eye like liner for the lash line, but this time I'm gonna be using it on the lid, and I wanna press it in the center, blending it in with that black shade. So I'm also going to use a detailing brush to kind of like place it where I want under the black when it comes to my crease. I'm actually gonna go ahead and kind of cut the crease. I'm gonna be using Gerard Cosmetics, And I'm just going to cut the crease a little bit so that way that blue pops a little bit more, because it's not popping the way I want it to pop. So you see that I kind of cut it, cleaned it up, and now I'll go back into that blue shade and use a detailing brush and kind of press it on the line that I made in my crease, so that way it's nice and clean. See, that primer just made this blue pop really nicely. And so now to just do underneath the line, I'm gonna put it on my finger, just tap it so it's even just more in your face. That is a really pretty blue though, like, I love that. Now I want to dip into the gold shade, which is another metallic, and this is in the shade True Love. So it's this shade right here. So nice and gold. So I'm going to use that in the inner corner, blending it into the blue. So I'm gonna start off by taking it on a brush before I use my finger, because I wanna make sure I keep that clean line that I created. So I'm just gonna tap it on. I feel like Colourpop should have done like, and this is just me being biased as hell, right? They should have done like a princess palette where it was like all Snow White and all like pretty and like princessy, and then they should have done like the Evil Queen palette and made it all dark and purples and blacks and, you know, evil. Because I would have definitely enjoyed something like that. So I'm lightly tapping the gold on the blue in the middle, so it kind of diffuses and like really blends into that blue seamlessly, so it doesn't have like a harsh line. Like, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it diffused really nicely. Like, these two colors look great together. So now I'm gonna go back into the black to add that sparkle with the black. And I am basically just gonna use another small detailing brush, because when it comes to stuff like that, it's easier to control. And I'm not really like buffing and blending. I am like tapping it to have that payoff and to keep that sparkle on my lid. So I wash this brush off and I'm just like tapping it in the outer corner against the blue and then tapping it out to make that wing darker. I think this is all I want to do to the lid. I'm going to add a winged liner, and then I'm going to repeat this look on the other side, put on my foundation, concealer, stop looking like a crazy person with black all over my eye, and then I'll come back, do the under eye, add some of the blush, and then try out the last lipstick in this collection. Man, I feel so much more put together with my foundation on, and it's not just my red ass textured skin. Before I put my lashes on, I wanted to do my under eyes, so my eyes still look kind of crazy because there's no lashes going on, and I can see myself in the viewfinder, and it's intense, but I like intense looks. So for the under eyes, I really want to use the Charm shade here. So this is the red, and it's also a metallic. So what I'm going to do is actually put it in the center of my under eye, use the gold in the inner, and then blend the red into the black. So it's just nice and smooth, and it just flows really nicely together. And of course, I'm gonna be doing this on a liner brush, and I'm just going to press it down all the way across from, not the inner corner, but the center all the way to my big ass wing over here. And then I'm just going to keep pressing it in to just intensify the red, and then I'll blend it out at the end. Now I'm going to use the gold shade, which is called True Love, put that on in the inner corner, blending it into the red, and then picking up the Fri-YAY shade, which is the black shade, and kind of blending that as well. So I'm going to switch to a fluffier brush to blend the black and red together, and I might have to pick up more red to get it to look the way I want to. I'm also going to take that red and kind of bring a little bit up the wing as well, to kind of just like add a little color, and then use a fluffy brush to smoke it out like that. So now I feel a little bit more like Evil Queen like. So the blush for this look, I'm going to be using Just Rosy. I did use the other two blushes with the first look. So Just Rosy is the darker blush. So this is actually a blush that I would reach for more often than the other two shades that this collection came with. So I'm hoping this is really, really pretty. It looks like I'm gonna have to build it up, but this also has like some reflect in there, so it is going to be a luminous blush like the other two. Yeah, I'm gonna have to like pick up quite a bit to get this the shade that I want it to be, because like I want it to be a deeper blush for sure, but it is building up really nicely and I really like this one. So out of all three of these blushes, this is definitely my favorite. It's definitely one I'm going to be reaching for more often as well. Like, look at that. With a like glowy blush like this, I feel like I don't need highlighter. So I think I might skip the highlighter today and just go with the luminous blush because I don't want to overglow my skin. Okay, so obviously I went ahead and put some lashes on. And another little thing, it's several hours later from when I put on my eyeshadow and my face. Because I was going to Chuck E. Cheese with my son and daughter's football team, I did not think it was appropriate for me to wear this eye look and a very dark, vampy lip. So I waited until we got back, and now we're going to try out the lip. Now, I did have a lip on. I did put on some Dior lip oil to kind of just neutralize everything. Man, those lip oils are very nice, okay? It makes me feel really bougie when I, like, apply it, and when I'm wearing it, I kind of just, you know, gives me a little bit of sass in my attitude. So this is the lip kit. It is Thy Magic Spell. And this is the darker one. This is the one that kind of calls to me a little bit more than the red, even though I do love a good red lip. There it goes. So one thing I liked about the red lip kit is I really enjoyed the lippy pencil. So I'm gonna go ahead and line my lips. This is the shade Jealous Much. Ooh, I kind of like that as a shade name. So there is the lip liner. The lipstick is in the shade Evil Queen. So obviously this is gonna go very well with the lippy sticks. Man, I'm gonna go on Colourpop's website and buy a bunch of these. These are really nice. I can't believe I've been sleeping on them. I don't know if you can see on camera, but the lippy stick has way more pigment, like coverage wise, and it's like deep dark right away when you apply it. But the lipstick in the shade Evil Queen has got a little bit of sheerness to it, but you can build it up to match the lippy sticks, like if you wanted to. But I'm going to keep it a little bit sheer. And then the gloss is in the shade Queen G. So this is a really pretty purple sparkle. And because I don't like to ruin the wand, I'm going to take a brush and apply it that way. So this might be an unpopular opinion. I really like the gloss, like the color of the gloss itself. I don't like it with this lip color. I really like the lip color, but I don't like it with this gloss. So I just think it's a bit odd. It's pretty to turn this into a gloss. I don't know. I feel like this one shouldn't be sparkly, but that's just my opinion. So this is the final look for the more bold, kind of like dark, the evil side, as you will. Go ahead and let me know in the comments down below which one you prefer. So like the first one or this one. But I want to talk about the palette for a second. I feel like Colourpop did like a really good job with the color story and stuff, minus the fact that I truly, truly believe there should be a matte yellow in that palette. And honestly, nobody can change my mind on that. I also think Colourpop should like do where you get like a palette that's the princess and a palette that's a villain. I know I mentioned that earlier, but I really feel like if they did that, it would be really kind of cool and different to see, or do like half the palette like the princess side, half the palette, you know, the villain, whatever way. But I would really enjoy to see Colourpop do something like that. But besides that, like I really enjoyed this collection. I'm really happy I picked it up. Honestly, I used, I believe, every single shade in the eyeshadow palette, and I know I used all three blushes, both lip kits. The mirror is super cute. I'm actually going to be passing it to my daughter, just because I don't need it. Like, I don't need another mirror, honestly, but it is really, really cute. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and like and subscribe, and until next time, bye y'all. I'm gonna take a nice big fluffy brush and dip back into the shade. That's my mom. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, did you get my text?
Yes. Is it here?
Yes.